Hello, my name is PrevidLinks and this is my game project OnionLegs. I've been working on it for the past 4 to 5 years, constantly changing and tweaking the different aspects of it. As I kept working on it, I learned many things about game development and life in general. If you haven't heard of me, it's probably because I haven't uploaded in a year. So why haven't I shown any important progress? The short answer is that things have been changing. The way I've been building this game from the ground up has been very questionable to say the least. I tried to fix most of these issues, but just led me to feeling extremely burnt out. Honestly, I haven't worked on this project in months, and I'm afraid that I might be falling out of love with this project I spent years on. So what do I do from here? The origins of this game project were actually pretty weird. I didn't properly plan it out or was looking for a certain theme. It actually started with a challenge I made for myself. Some of my friends would suggest ideas for me, and in return, I would make it into a game while making very bad development logs on YouTube. Honestly, it led to a pretty crazy game called A Ring of Onions. And the best part was it was fun to make. Then out of nowhere, I decided to quit that project. While I enjoyed making this project, I wasn't quite happy with where development was going. I knew that if I put it out there, I wouldn't be completely satisfied. So I restarted, this time seeking a game genre that would fit my ambition, where I could put these characters to good use. Around this time, I was getting back into metroidvanias. I loved exploring their world maps, finding power-ups, and fighting their tough bosses. So I decided to revamp my game into a metroidvania. I made a couple of videos slowly adding more content into the game. Project Onion. Unfortunately, development on this game was very mixed. The gameplay was very confusing and experimental. This was mainly due to the combat. Instead of having a simple close range attack, I made this weird onion ring that would spin around you. This was my attempt at making my game unique, but in practice, it was unreliable and difficult to control. On the bright side, a good thing I got out of this was a slow improvement in pixel art. While I had some strange game design choices, around this time, I started to get a stronger artistic feel for what I wanted. So this time, I decided to remake the game project once more while keeping some past elements and assets from both versions. Thankfully, for this game project, OnionLegs, I started with a plan for it. Since combat wasn't an issue in my previous version, I took the time to really flesh it out and make it satisfying. Along with that, I worked on implementing core systems for later down the line that would make it easier to develop levels. By the time I was done with a base game to work from, it looked really promising. So, I continued to work on it for the past 1 to 2 years. Despite all this progress, there was a point I started to fall down into the same trap again. Uploads on my YouTube channel started slowing down, and I started talking less about my game. While the improvements I made to the game helped development, something about the core of the game was still broken. After thinking about this for a while, I concluded that this was the game's scope. This whole project started with changing the scope of the game to fit the gameplay, but now the scope of the game is too much compared to the gameplay. I realized that even though I accounted for the gameplay in advance with my prototype, I didn't think over the amount of work I would need to put it into a metroidvania. Sure, it's possible to make a small version of it with fewer areas, but I already started building this game world and story with the mindset of a much more too ambitious game for me to handle by myself. At that exact moment, I realized that if I wanted to properly finish this game, I would have to downscale almost everything. I was tired of changing this game project every year, telling myself that I would release a demo by the end of the year. The reality was, I was only telling myself broken promises to keep me going. Feeling regretful, I tried to figure out where I should go next, finding solace in art and exercise, but everything just felt off, if ever so slightly. These events caused a major burnout from just working on this project almost every single day. I looked back to how long it was taking me to develop my first big game, and I didn't know if I really wanted to continue spending years just to finish it. This led me to stop working on the project altogether for several months. Throughout all of this, I tried my best to release my next update video, Development Log 8. I never finished that video, remaking it a second and third time this video. Deep down, I knew that something had to be done. Something had to change. After spending those months recovering, I'm feeling a lot better now, and I'm ready to discuss my overall thoughts and plans I've had. If there is a main thing you could take away from this video, it would be to know how and why you're making a game. During these past years, I already knew why I was developing OnionLegs. That was to learn how to make games and to finally put something out there. Although it's fine for beginners to not exactly know how, it could be detrimental to not know how big you're planning this game to be. It's like making a game about key lime pie and choosing to make a bakery simulator over a simple scoring game about just making pie. With each of these projects, I've really struggled to define the how, since I've always overestimated how much work I can get done as a solo dev. Moving on, I want to address what's going to happen with OnionLegs, this channel, and future games. First of all, a big thank you to everyone on YouTube and GameJolt who has supported this game project. You've motivated me to keep going. However, OnionLegs will be going on an indefinite hiatus for a while. I'm shelving the project until I know I can come back and make it even better. For my YouTube channel, I'll start uploading more devlogs, small games, and game jams since those seem to be doing well. Along with that, I'll be starting a new devlog series of a new game in production. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but it's going to be a PS1 horror game inspired by the likes of Non-Massacre and its deals. So stay tuned to see that. If you want to support me, the best way you can do so is through my YouTube channel or a GameJolt page. Anyways, thanks for watching through this video, and I'll see you in the next one.